Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani has blamed the country's deteriorating security on a sudden decision by the United States to withdraw its troops. Ghani said that he had warned Washington that the pullout would have consequences. Addressing a special session of parliament, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani said the Taliban would not move towards peace unless the worsening security situation was curbed. He accused the Taliban of keeping ties with terrorist groups and stepping up attacks on women and civil society activists. Rejecting Ghani's accusations, the Taliban said lies and accusations cannot prolong Ghani's government. In a tweet, spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid warned that the president's time has run out. This comes as the Taliban have intensified their attacks across the country and also hit Herat and Kandahar airports. Besides, Russia and Uzbekistan have begun joint military drills near the Afghan border. Russian media reported that 1,500 troops would take part in the 5-day exercises that began at the Termez military site in Uzbekistan. For more on this, we are joined by Mr. Arshad Yousafzai, an analyst speaking to us from Peshawar. Mr. Yousafzai, thank you so much for joining us. Now, the fighting in Afghanistan is getting worse by the hour. Why do you think the Taliban have started attacking airports, and whether these attacks will hinder the exit of foreign troops?
Well, the attacks are increasing because, one of the fact is that the Taliban had a plan that as soon as the foreign troops leave Afghanistan, they will start taking as many cities and as swiftly as possible. So that is why we are seeing attacks all around the country now. The reason they are attacking airports, especially the attacks yesterday on airports in Herat and Kandahar, are one of the reasons behind this is the Taliban believe that it's a retaliation. They are linking it as a retaliation to the bombardment that they suffered day before. The reason these attacks on the airport are because they believe that the Shindan airport in Herat in particular was used to attack Taliban convoys in Guzara and Adrat. Now, I don't think that this will delay the withdrawal of the foreign troops, because the foreign troops are committed to leave. And as soon as the September 11 date approaches, it is quite sure that all the troops will leave Afghanistan. And by then, the Taliban believe that they would have captured many areas compared to they are now, which is almost half the country. So they will be in a better position to dictate their terms as they did before the start of Doha Agreement or Doha talks.
Mr. Yousafzai, the United Kingdom has already voiced their soft approval of working with the Taliban if they would come into power. Do you believe that the Taliban can take over Afghanistan, or do the Afghan forces possess the capacity to fight back?
Well, it's not just the UK at the moment. Other European countries too are starting to soften their image or their attraction towards the Taliban. But one thing is for sure, the Taliban have been capturing areas that are far from the major cities, that are not well guarded at the moment. Particularly border areas, small towns or villages or districts that are far from the city centers. So we haven't seen the worst of the fighting yet. The Afghan troops haven't put up any big fight yet. I fear that in the future, when just like it's happening in Helmand and Herat now, so I believe that the fighting will escalate in the future.
Mr. Yousafzai, now experts say that President Ashraf Ghani's corruption is the reason behind the rapid Taliban gains. They accuse the Ghani government of receiving funds for ghost soldiers. How much of that is true?
The corruption is one of the major issues. The people of Afghanistan are not happy with the current government. And they believe that one of the reasons that the Ghani government administration is asking the foreign troops not to leave, the Ghani government would want to have an extended period of taking out more corruption money as much as possible for them, and to extend their regime to get more benefits from the Western countries. So I believe it is agreeable to greater extent that corruption is one of the major issues of the current government. And, things were shown not exactly as they were. The preparation of the Afghan troops, it was not as was shown. It was propagated by the Afghan politicians in their books or on social media. It was just a hype that they had created. But in reality, things were worse than that.
Mr. Arshad Yousafzai, thank you so much for speaking to Indus News.